Hi, Stuart.
Yes.
I have a two-part question. One part is, could you talk about how there's no duality, no separation between our souls and higher energy in the universe? Some people call that God. And part two is, what is the difference between enlightenment and salvation?
Uh, the difference between enlightenment and salvation. I don't know. I can't answer that question, Tony. I mean, go talk to some theologist and they'll probably give you a better answer than I. I mean, I can probably talk about it in just, everyday street talk, but when it comes between the difference between enlightenment and salvation, I don't know how to answer that. I really don't. And what was the other question?
Oh, how there's no duality between ultimately ourselves, our higher selves, and the higher energy in the universe.
We have you're not asking questions, you're answering them. I mean, look, duality is a byproduct of the human mind. Duality is a byproduct of conflict, of things in opposition to each other, and that's how the human mind functions. So you want to get rid of duality, you got to get mastery over the mind, transform the mind from a rational kind of thinking instrument into it, almost like a surgical instrument that opens the very core of your being. Once the core of your being is open, and I talk about this just about every class. And once the core of your being is open, and you can open the heart, and all of that tension in the mind begins to flow down, transform itself into Shakti, you begin to live in a world that doesn't have duality. You begin to recognize that duality in life depends upon the way you see life. It depends upon the projection of your own reality. And that's what creates the duality. If you have attained a state of inner awareness, harmony, balance, openness, you understand, when you look out at the world, you don't see duality. You see, the essence of things. You see where duality emanates from. And you truly, begin to perceive the world in a very different way. But if you're looking at the world through your mind and trying to understand and rationalize what you're looking at, you're always going to come up with duality. Because no matter what answer you get, there's always going to be another answer that confronts it, that's in conflict with it. And to me, the best answers are truly things that help me to grow in my life. How do I get closer to God? How do I use everything in this world as an opportunity to get closer to God, closer to my spiritual enlightenment, as an opportunity to continue the growth process inside myself that started there really a very long time ago. When you start seeing the world that way, the duality vanishes. It's not the things aren't in polar opposite to each other. There's a oneness. It's this gigantic bowl of soup with millions of ingredients. And every one of the ingredients is a manifestation of God, higher energy. So it all fits. It's like this gigantic puzzle where everything fits. And we have to get big enough inside ourselves to recognize, how all of this fits and how we can truly open to this and allow it to teach us how to build a spiritual life. Then there's no more duality. There's just your teacher. There's life in all its, layers and dimensions, and that is there to teach you what you need to learn to grow and ultimately become an enlightened being. As far as enlightenment and salvation, I'll refer you to Webster's dictionary, okay? Go look it up and find out. But all the rest of it, polarity is, it gets back to an undisciplined mind, or such a highly disciplined, rational mind that it sees the world in terms of opposites all the time. Everything is always in conflict with everything else. And that doesn't mean that the person that sees the world that way can learn from the world how to grow spiritually. They can learn intellectual knowledge, how to build computers, how to do, all kinds of stuff they do, but does it fix people inside? I mean, we have all this technology today that is a byproduct of the human mind. And people are as crazy as I ever can remember them being crazy today. So ultimately, what it gets down to, it's about money and it's about power and control and who can be the richest person on earth. And yet you look in the eyes of these people and it's like, there's total chaos inside. Most of them are just such deeply unhappy people. And yet they have these vast intellects that can analyze both ends of the, both sides of the coin and produce something. Everything but joy, love, open hearts, gratitude. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you.
Yes.
You said thank you.
Is that the question?
No. I just said thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I love questions, I mean, look what they bring out. They're just amazing, I'm here learning also. You ask questions and I learn. Ask questions. They just forced me to go to a place that is, it's not an ordinary place, in order to draw on the Shakti that allows this energy to manifest in this meditation class. It's kind of wonderful. And I'm in awe of it, I bow to it. I'm so grateful to hear these things because they help me to grow. I'm not teaching anybody, I'm being taught here, Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
I'll ask you, Stuart. Sometimes in the meditation, I feel a very strong pulsation. And like I feel like I can feel the energy actually moving. And other times, like I feel nothing and, I'm just trying to focus on the one point. Well, what is the significance of actually experiencing that flow versus not being in touch with the feeling realization of it?
I mean, is there any real separation? If you are open in that energy, you'll feel it. It becomes part of your living experience. It's not like one or the other. I mean, repeat the one. What did you mean by one and up?
Yeah.
What?
So I feel the energy and that's pretty clear. I feel it. And then other times I feel like nothing, or I'm perceiving to feel nothing. Does that mean I'm in my head likely, or is there a significance?
You're not going to feel nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be thinking, and the thoughts are going to distract you and take you away from the meditation. If you're experiencing a nothingness inside yourself, you are making room for higher energy to flow through you. And you have to go through that state of nothingness inside yourself in order to open and allow, that Shakti, that energy to flow through you and nurture and develop the chakra system. And when that energy begins to flow through you, you'll begin to feel the chakras getting stronger. You'll feel sensations of all kinds, because first of all, you're opening the chakras. And one of the first things you feel sometimes is negative energy that have been buried in the chakras for so long and are now being released. Did you ever see a movie called The Thief of Baghdad? It was made, it's a great movie, really fun. And, but anyway, there's a genie in one part of the movie who's been locked in this glass bottle for like hundreds of years. And the little thief of Baghdad releases the genie and he comes out, this gigantic creature, free, I'm free. Look, in its own strange and Hollywood way, it represents the same thing we feel, like these energies come out of us and we get free of them. We're free. It's like we have been locked ourselves in a prison for years. And, the energies come out of us and I'm free. You release these things and you feel like you're on a completely different dimension in your life. It's almost like you're floating above the earth. But before that happens, there's got to be this really deep sense of nothingness. Nothing in you is interfering with the flow of Shakti. You have truly mastered your inner self. The mind is quiet, the emotions are quiet, sexual energy is quiet, you're balanced inside. It's a state of nothingness, and then all that energy will flow and it will truly expand and develop an amazing system inside. And you'll have many, many kinds of feelings and experiences, from very negative things to, sweet and delicious and loving energy. It goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. Because frankly, both ends of the spectrum are in every person. They're in every person. And when you open, it's like that genie, I'm free, I'm free,
It seems like the work is not getting identified with the negative that comes up and getting caught in it, but letting it pass.
Letting it, look, I don't want to get scatological here. When you go to the toilet and release, you don't identify with it. It comes out of you. It's, the same thing. You got to release this stuff. You have to release it and not identify with it and hold on to it and analyze it. And, just let it go. Let it go.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Wendy. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask?
Stuart,
Yes?
you just reminded me that one time you said that even a saint has to give up their saint-ness.
Yes. There's a little bit of a criminal in every saint, And you have to give up your saintliness. You have to give up everything, any position. You have to give up being a guru, a swami, a a yogi, whatever your position is, it will interfere with your ultimate enlightenment if you're attached to it. It's really true. It gets back to you have to attain a state of nothingness. And that nothingness allows all of the energy of the universe to flow through. And that begins to guide your life. The amazing thing about this is that it is available. This thing I'm talking about is available to every single human being if they're willing to do the inner work. That's what's so amazing about this. It's not just people that are born from lotus flowers and avatars and come to the earth and they talk about being the incarnation of Christ and the Buddha and blah, blah, blah. It's every human being has this inside them. And I really love that idea because that makes everybody, whoever they are, sacred. It makes everybody part of the universal soul that keeps evolving. Does anyone else have a question I would like to ask? Okay, so just to, again, chances are very good that I will have a class tomorrow. I have an appointment, but I'm going to just try to cancel it. I think I can get out of it. Just to have it after the new year. But if you don't get an invitation, I feel rejected. Yeah. It means I have to go see my eye doctor and get this treatment done that I do every couple of months. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, well, there will be a class most likely tomorrow, if not tomorrow, on Wednesday. God bless you all and thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, because I'm telling you, I sit here and I learn so much through these classes, through the energy, through the questions, everything that takes place in this hour, hour and a half. So thank you and bless you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Stuart.
Stuart.
Right.
Good night, Stuart. You're the best.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Night.